Okay. Hangout is on air and it's live. So we will start it
Okay.
in like, what, 7 minutes or 8 minutes?
Yes, assuming other people have joined us.
Yes, yes, I can see your chat. So we're going to use the chat feature.
Okay.
I have Google up, and I have Facebook on another window in case something comes in. And I've got email. It's just all like technology everywhere.
Yes, I have these things as well. I really am going to have to buy a monitor.
Yeah. Yeah, just join it. Just hit join. Well,
I'm going to try to figure it out.
yes. Well, we have 0 viewers as of now, so I don't think anybody's going to hear this part. But in case you're trying to figure it out, we're new to this too.
Exactly.
Kickstarter is up
still
$30 this morning.
Wow. Now that's something I don't have. I don't have the Kickstarter project open. I should open that.
Uh-huh. Oh.
What's the ding?
Well, my niece. Oh, we have 1 viewer now. We can hear you. It's Laura Pacina. LOL. I don't think anybody can hear this right now. Check your phone. Okay. I did check my phone, Laura Pacina. Are you watching, Mindy? Oh. Well, there's still 5 more minutes, so just enjoy our yabber dabber do until then.
Because I'm on Xfinity.
So, Andy, if they're just watching, I can't see. We're not going to see them like we did last night, right?
No, I invited them to join as video.
Okay.
If I don't do that, then
Okay.
yeah.
So you can tell though if we've got other people watching
We have
it.
2 viewers now.
'Cause I don't think I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Mindy and Laura?
No, Mindy's
Hi,
not
Mindy
on
and
yet.
Laura. Oh no, hi, Laura. Who's the second one then?
I don't
Is that
know
me?
what the second one is. No, that is not you. And in Google Hangout, there is a chat feature that's beside. So if you're watching right now, you should be able to text a chat to us, and then that you can ask questions that way. You know, if that doesn't work, then feel free to text us if you know our phone numbers, or Facebook message, or any other form of communication, because I think I have all of those windows open on my computer. Laura says, hashtag so technology advanced.
Indeed.
Yes.
We are full of technology.
So if I'll do this as a favor for. Okay, while we're waiting, we still have a couple minutes. So here's my picture for hashtag #SoTechnologyAdvanced. This is what my view looks like from here, just in case you needed to know.
Nice. You win the Technology Gold Star today, Andy.
Oh, yes. Oh, we're down to one viewer. We lost somebody.
Oh no. We're
Oh, now we have
boring.
two.
We haven't started yet.
We're back to two. We've got a question from a viewer already. So how are you doing the research for the project? So that is the question. What we're going to do, actually, in about a minute, is we're going to, for about 10 minutes, we'll kind of go over what 3 is about, give you a little bit more of our passion for this idea, and I think that question should be answered in the process of that 10 minutes. And then we'll just take time and answer the question specifically at that point with whatever time we have left. We want to keep it short. The East Coast has snow. The West Coast, we all want to get outside, so. Now we have another comment, hashtag epic.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, we've
Okay.
we had 3 for a while. Now we have 2 viewers. Well, let's give it till it is 9:15 now. So you want to see how many more people are going to join, or should we just go ahead?
Why don't we give it like 1 more minute
Okay.
in case anybody's having a hard time getting the connection to work.
Okay.
And then we'll go ahead and jump in. People may join while we're talking as well, but
yeah, and that's fine. And we will
that'll be
post
fine.
the video, probably minus all of this extraneous stuff, later today, so that you can watch this whole thing later, and we'll make sure that you have a link. So. Now we're up to 4. Okay. I am going to go ahead and okay. Well, we have a presentation. Why don't you
All right, shall we get started?
go ahead and start with that?
Okay. Great. So thank you all for joining us today. We wanted to come and talk with you a little bit about our project called 3. I'm Julie Martinez, and Andy as well. And this is a documentary project that Andy and I are producing, and we are right now doing a Kickstarter fundraising campaign that will end in a couple more days. And we are just about finished with our funding, so we're anticipating that we're going to be able to do this project, and we're very excited about it. We wanted to share with you what we're doing and some of the ideas behind it, and then also see what questions you have for us. So first of all, we have a quick presentation here. We're going to run through it pretty fast because we really want to get to the questions. That's the important part. So first of all, what is 3? It's an interactive documentary series. There's going to be 5 episodes that we're planning to do, filmed on location. And our purpose is to explore the real lives of 3 people, each who follow one of 3 great religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. Andy, why don't you tell us a little bit about your passion and interest in this project?
Well, I did a documentary last year called Around the World in 80 Hours, and it was really spawned by by all of the experience that I've had traveling around the world, doing videos for other organizations, and I wanted to kind of, in a sense, video blog some of my vision and perspective that I've been able to see. So I did something that was fun, and I knew that I wanted to do something else. Maybe a little more serious, because I tend to want to attack very big, serious issues, and obviously Jerusalem is a huge, serious issue. But it gets me excited when I talk to people and individuals and find out what it's like to live in a place in a way that, and get into people's lives and see that they're actually not that different than you and I. And I think it gives a different level of understanding of big topics when you share a meal, share a slice of life with somebody in a way, in a place like Jerusalem. And I think that idea got me going. It's like, especially last summer, this really started to percolate and say, what can I do about it when there was bombing and missiles going across the border between Gaza and Israel? And I said, I think there's something that we can understand this situation better than just what's on Fox News or CNN or whatever nightly newscast or news feed that you guys listen to.
Great. So Andy's experience with his documentary World in 80 Hours also started us talking about, we want to talk about these big things, about them using media in the place that it is today. And that brings us to the idea of what do we mean when we're talking about what is that? And our idea behind that is we wanted to do a crowdfunded, so that's the idea of doing Kickstarter, documentary where our backers don't just, but they actually get to participate in the creation process. So Andy and I have been making videos for many, many years now, together and individually. And this has been kind of a long-term dream of ours to be able to make documentaries in this manner, where we actually get to have our audience participate with us. And so actually what we're doing today, right now, is our first step in trying out this whole new process of really active media, things that people can participate in. So that's our idea and what we're talking about with interactive documentary. So it might make you ask, what is this documentary going to look like? And that's the next slide in our presentation is, what is it going to actually look like? We're going to be doing production in Jerusalem, and like I mentioned before, we're talking about doing 5 episodes in the series. So there would be 5 segments. Each of them would be somewhere from 3 to 6 minutes long. And then after we do the production, Andy and I will be working on post-production. Andy, you're going to actually do the on-the-ground production in Jerusalem. So tell us a little bit about what you think that might look like.
Well, I actually started a little over a year ago when I was working in San Diego. A really good friend of mine, James Wu, was telling me about his experiences in Jerusalem, and he's a part of a program called Jetly, which takes Arab, Muslim, Jewish, and Christian teenagers from the United States and Israel and gets them together for a week. And once I started talking to him, I got really excited about some of the stories that I heard him tell me about that happened in that type of an interaction. And so I started to think, these are the kind of stories that you don't see or hear on the news, these personal individual stories. So he's actually been putting me in touch with people there, and I've been having conversations with people in Israel for a while now, and just trying to get a grasp on the complex situation. It's really fascinating to me, and I'm really looking forward to actually meeting these people in person in just a couple of months when I get to go there. So, and actually, one of the things, going back to the interactive part, we're going to plan to do at least one of these events while I'm there, maybe some one-on-one with some of the backers who are participating, and then a public one, and so that we can actually take you and have conversations with people there in Jerusalem. So that's another part of the interactivity that we're going to be doing.
So that might lead you to think, what is the story of 3? We've talked about we want to explore these important, vital issues of our world. Religious conflict is a huge, overwhelming kind of topic. So how we narrow it down is that we want to look at these issues through the eyes of real people. So our idea is that we meet individual people. One that is a Christian, one that is a Muslim, that is a Jew, and follow them in their daily life during one of their days of worship. So on Friday, that's the day that Muslims go to do their worship. We want to follow this person through their day. Saturday, then, with a Jew, Christian, so that we can understand their real lives. We don't want to just talk about these things from a real high-level hypothetical point of view. But we want to see someone who is a normal person, a regular person, and what their life is like in Jerusalem. So we also might want to talk about then, why did we pick out Jerusalem as the place that we want to go to do this? There's plenty of places in the world right now that we could go to talk about religious conflict. It's happening all over the world. But we wanted to explore these issues. And we thought, as Andy and I talked, what better place is there to do this than in Jerusalem, which is the epicenter of religious conflict and has been for thousands of years. Andy also talked just now a little bit about, why he had this connection to Jerusalem as well. So this is what's brought us the interest of why we wanted to go ahead and do it in Jerusalem. So Andy, you can skip through the next slide there, and we'll talk a lot to then follow. Andy, I introduced that concept. Do you want to talk a little bit about why this is important to you?
I think, yeah, I did. I started to get into why it's so important to me. I just, I live and work in the United States, but yet a lot of my life I've had the opportunity to travel abroad, and like I said, seeing people in the context of other cultures and cities and locations, digging a little bit below the surface of what you would see as a tourist, I think is really exciting, and I think helps give a unique perspective to us here, and I think could help us as we start to process from whatever your background is, what you see in the news and the events that happen. And I come from a Christian background, which influences my perspective, and I think I think from the conversations of all stripes, just once you start to know somebody personally, it really begins to allow you to see issues of our world in a different light. And I think I want to try to use my skills as a filmmaker, and it really makes me excited to be able to just spend time with people. And then I really like the way technology now is becoming so everybody has it in their hand. They have their iPhone in their hand, and I've really started to pick that up as a production technique. Is I'm actually using my iPhone for a lot of my work now, because it breaks down part of that wall and allows you to get into somebody's life in a way that a big camera production, bringing in a documentary crew, never did. It still had a wall between you and the subject. So I'm hoping to continue to explore that process in this place that I think everybody who's watching would, agree is a fascinating yet contentious place to try to make a documentary.
Mm-hmm. We asked the question, why make a documentary? There's other ways to communicate information, and honestly, ones that could be cheaper and maybe easier to do, but we really believe that videos are a really great way stories. and to really enter into someone else's life in a way that you can't if you just have a still picture of them or maybe a written story. Those are great ways to communicate as well. But video is very intimate in a unique kind of way, and that's why we feel strongly about making documentaries. So then the question is, how can you get involved? We already have about 50 backers on our Kickstarter project, which we're very excited about, having people who are on board with us. We're giving our backers some unique opportunities this time. We are asking people to submit questions to us before Andy goes to Jerusalem, and we are going to use those as part of our interviews. So that we can see what kind of questions do our audience have. What do they want to hear about? What things are they interested to learn more about? We'll be doing research, obviously. We'll be preparing interview questions and having things set up. But instead of it just coming from the minds of Andy and I, we want our backers and our audience to be participants on the front. Andy mentioned a few minutes ago that we're also going to do an on-location Google Hangout while he's actually in Jerusalem to set up. Hopefully, maybe we'll have one of our participants who will be part of the video there if we can, and have you all have the chance to talk with Andy about what he's actually doing, who's been being part of the video there, so that you, in the middle of the production, actually get to find out what's happening and be a part of it. And then at the ending of it, have some early screening opportunities of the documentary as well, so that you have a chance to give us some input and some feedback before we release it widely, to the ways that you can get involved. So you may be asking, do I have to give money to be able to do that? Obviously, we're hoping that you would, if you haven't already backed us, that you'd be willing to, even for just $5. Where it's great to have people who do the $100 gifts, $500 gifts, but even $5 will get you to be part of the project. But we understand times are tough sometimes. If you can't do $5, that's totally okay. You can go to Kinetic mailing list, and you will get the emails. You will find out what's going on, and you can participate even if you don't have money right this minute. Andy, do you have any follow-up on those 2 points about being involved and how people can get involved?
Yeah, no, I mean, we have reward levels starting at $5 in the Kickstarter, but you could even just type in $1, just as a say, hey, you know what, I believe in this project, or sign up for the mailing list. Either one of those will just be an indication to say, I believe in what you guys are doing. I can't, give $100 right now, but I want to be part of this event. And I really do believe in that stuff because because it's a team of people that is going to make this possible, and the more people we have behind it, obviously everybody has influence, and it will help have a bigger audience, as well as just be more encouraged. I don't want to feel like I'm out there on my own in Jerusalem, or Julie's out there on her own, trying to gather up the social media side and with the writing. That's one of the downsides that filmmaking has had in the past, is you go out and you make a film and then you come back and you're like, well, people like this? I think now, we can have a participation and we can know if people are going to be part of this team from the very beginning. So, yeah, just having your email or $1 would be that vote of like, yeah, I'm behind this, and I believe in the type of stories you guys are trying to tell. So we would really appreciate that.
So we're so excited here with us today. You've listened through. This is the stuff we wanted to tell you, but we're even more interested in hearing what kind of questions you might have for us. So there's a couple different ways that you can send us a question right now. There's a group chat on the Google Hangout. You can type in a message there. Send us a message through Facebook. Andy and I both have our Facebook. Send us an email. Text either one of us. We have all of these things open, and we are ready to hear what kind of questions you all have for us.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and start with the question from Paul. earlier, how are we doing research? Well, we talked a little bit about, I talked a little bit about the people that I'm connecting with in Jerusalem. You know, I've been following the, the news events, but I think, and I watched it, and actually this is something I'd recommend all of you guys to do. There's a IMAX film out called called Jerusalem, which is a phenomenal film to watch, and it gives you a good overview of that. That was part of my inspiration, but most of the research is just finding out what life is like there. And as I talk with people, I'm finding out that it's so much more complex and nuanced than I can get from reading online. So researching, on the ground, from a distance, it's amazing that we can do as much as we can now, but then I am looking forward to what happens on the ground as I begin to see what happens. And hopefully, the plan is to spend a few extra days before actually doing production to kind of get a grasp and talk to people in advance before, we intensely film and try to put together this story. Did you want to add anything, Julie?
I think you covered that really well. One point I would make is that our goal with this project is not to try to present any type of answers, but really to explore the day-to-day life of the people. And so we'll be doing some historical research so we can try to provide some context. We're doing conversations with people in advance, but the focus of the piece is really going to be on what's it like on the streets there in real life. And that's what we're really hoping to bring across in the style of video that we're doing.
Okay, I got another question here from Lily, and she says, where do they worship? Actually, this is something that we should have talked about before, because part of the cool thing about 3 is it's the 3 religions. But one of the things I think is really cool is that there's 3 days of the week that people worship in Jerusalem. Friday is the Muslim day of worship. Saturday is the Jewish day of worship, and of course Sunday is the Christian day of worship. So there's 3 days that these 3 religions have. So it's kind of a long weekend. Although Christians are the minority, and from the people that I've talked with there, they said Sunday is Monday, except for Christians, which is only 2 or 3% of the population. So that's really cool. I mean, so we want to go and see where people worship in the mosque, and probably and for the Jews there's the synagogue, but it's Jerusalem, so there is the Western Wall that they go and pray at too, which we will go there. So I think that's really it's really cool to have those 3 days and see 3 different ways of worshiping, and hopefully it'll give us all a better understanding of what it's like for the people who practice those faiths. So I have another question. Maybe you could take on this one, Julie, because I know that I've been just taking up all the time here. So how would you respond to people who feel that only one religion should be represented?
So the question is, how would we respond to someone in our video only one religion should be represented? I would say that the whole point of the project is we want to explore the fact that there are people who have different religious beliefs than what we may hold. And it's important for us to understand who these people are as real people. I think the world right now is awash in a lot of stereotypes, and we throw stereotypes back and forth. Because you are this thing, you fit into this category. And that's not really true. At a base level, I very firmly believe we are all humans. And we share a lot of commonality in our humanity. And in order for us to live with any kind of understanding of each other, we have to explore that commonality, and we have to be willing to embrace it. But I don't think we're capable of embracing it unless we actually and we learn about their beliefs and their ideas. We may disagree with those ideas. We may disagree even strongly with their belief systems, but that doesn't mean that they are less human. And so my hope for this project is by exploring 3 different religions, insight into the humanity of the people who are involved in each of those. That doesn't mean we have to accept what their beliefs are, and our goal will not be to persuade anyone to believe the other. Our goal is simply to explore what it means to be that person today living in Jerusalem.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it better. So I have another question came in. How can the documentary be used by groups to follow the production? Well, I'll start that, and then I think Julie will want to finish because that's actually part of her role as a producer. But that's why we want to have these interactive opportunities so that groups can participate, and these interactive events will be posted as well. We are going to be publishing a discussion guide along with this, something where there's a little bit of overview of what to think about as you watch a segment, as well as questions to discuss as a group. So, I mean, it could be in a classroom, in a church setting, in a book group. You could do a documentary book group, although book group and documentary don't go together, but I think you guys know what I mean. Anything to add to that, Julie?
Yeah, I think this is an exciting opportunity for any kind of a group. I can easily imagine a church group that could be a Sunday school class or a Wednesday night type of a group, a life group could take on something like this. It could be used in a Sunday morning service, depending on the style of service you have. I think it would also be appropriate for a school. I could see a teacher of history or civics that they might want to include something like this where we're trying to learn about other people that we have to live with. And it goes back to what I was just saying about the presenting multiple religions. This is part of the whole reason why we don't want to say this is what you have to believe, this is what we believe, so you should believe what we believe, because we want it to be open-ended. We want people to be able to use it in their own setting and use it as a launching pad then for discussion and learning for the future. Our desire is that people understand each other better so that we can live together in a better world. How you want to use that then in your group, you could use it from a missions focus or an educations focus or a tolerance focus. It's up to you on how you would like your group to make use of it past that point.
Yeah, I mean, our background is Christian, but however, you know, I think that I would like to even see it presented in a way that somebody in a mosque could have a discussion to help understand Christians better, or in a Jewish synagogue to kind of understand the context of the culture that is in Jerusalem. I don't know. But we want to have we want to be open to those discussions and talk with whoever comes forward and says, "Hey, I would like to work with you." Even after the Kickstarter is over, feel free to get in touch with us, and we can begin a discussion about how this can be used in other ways.
Do you have any more questions there, Andy, right now?
I don't have any more questions that came in. There was a question that came in earlier. Do you have contacts there already who will meet you when you get there? I think we answered that in the process of our discussion. Yes, we do, and we're working on getting more. I think that's it. If anything else comes in, we have one more.
Well, I have.
Okay, how do you plan to handle responses that are negative due to the delicate subject matter? That is a difficult question, and it's something, I guess, on location is going to be different than having to handle it on and this side of the, through social media, we've already had some very nasty comments posted on our Facebook regarding this. I want to be moved towards conversation, because I know people who feel very strongly and differently than I do about subjects, but if there's conversation and finding common ground is important to me. So what is something that I can discuss with them that we can find in common, and then move towards those, move towards a way that we can see each other as human, because I think once we see each other as people and as individuals, it's easier to find a way to discuss through difficult situations. So that's how I try to talk with people, is find that common ground first, and then talk through it. When it comes to social media, we want to be open and allow people to have that divergent view, but not be nasty. So I think maybe you could address a little bit more of your perspective of that, Julie.
Particularly when you're thinking about putting together the documentary after you have the interview shot. My perspective, and I've worked with some fairly controversial topics in the past, my perspective on giving a voice to the person who has been interviewed is, I always try to be really what their belief system is. So I want to give them the opportunity to express themselves in a well-spoken, honest manner. So when we're editing people's interviews, you can edit people in a lot of ways. You can make them look silly. You can make them they are. My job, I feel like, as a documentary producer, is to give people an honest response to who they are. So part of that may have some negativity to it, and I would not downplay that. I wouldn't sound nasty or to devolve into some audience. But our goal will be to really present these people from a flex. They're complicated. All of us are. We have conflicting beliefs. We have strongly held beliefs that maybe aren't based in reality. So our job will be for each to be real to who they are and present them in their best light in what they actually believe, because that's what we need to learn from. We don't need to learn from a whitewashed version of who these people are. We need to learn who they really are, and it's important to me that we present them in that manner.
Absolutely. I mean, it is a tough road to walk. Because sometimes there are just people who have one view and that's it, and we need to find a gracious way of working through that process with them. But I think most people, when you see them face to face, when you share a meal with them, which is so important in so many cultures, you can work past those differences, and you may never see eye to eye forever, but you can see each other as people. We are at the half-hour mark. It's 9:45 my time. So I want to kind of wrap it up so that people can move on with their days, whatever they have on their plate. Once again, you can go to our Kickstarter page, which actually storyof3.net links to that, and back it. We really would appreciate you backing it. We are so close to crossing the finish line. We've got just over 2 days left, and we are 85% there. So, and then you can go to kineticvillage.net and sign up for our mailing list. Once the Kickstarter is over, storyof3.net will go to the mailing list page. So, anything final thoughts, Julie?
No, thank you. Appreciate it. And we look forward to talking with you more about this project in the future.
All right, and we'll see you on 3 as we move through this process. Thank you so much.